Dear. Do you need?
Okay. You and I go and gather it.
I do. How are we doing it? Damn it. 1-1.
Yeah, it's 1-1.
Why?
Okay. We're just with W now, so. Come on, 10 seconds, 60 seconds.
Is there live? Is it live?
Yep.
So live has started.
So whatever you are seeing here is what is going on.
Oh, okay. So we are not yet live.
We are live.
The timer is counting when you're live.
So let's take us.
So it's not 10 seconds.
It's not 10 seconds.
10.
I want to
60 seconds. So you can have fun. You can do
Oh?
anything.
Hey, what's up, people?
Yeah.
We are plenty in the studio today. Anyway, my name is Omole, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bytes by Technext. As I said, my name is Omole, and I have on the other end Dami. He likes to call himself the foundational tech bro. He's a bloody liar. He's going to give you that deep voice now. Anyway, so today is an open mic session, and we have two other people who are experts in the tech space. So as we usually do, we're going to be your newscasters, but this time we're going to have these two other people discuss the news, the biggest tech stories of 2022. Before we go on, we just want to tell you that we've given you 20 episodes of Tech Bytes.
Come on.
20, I want to say thank you for listening, watching, liking, sharing, commenting. You are the reason we keep doing this. Today will be a special edition, as I've already said, and we'll be reviewing the top stories of 2022, the ones that define the tech space. And I have with me, what's your name?
It's a pleasure to be here.
I know his name. I'm not like that. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
What's Ganyu?
You're supposed to introduce me now.
This guy doesn't know how to do it.
I-
We have with us Ganyu and Tomiwo.
Thank you for having us.
Who doesn't know how to do it?
Welcome.
Anyway, so to get the juice of it all, you need to stay with us, till the very end. We're not going to waste your time. Before we go on, remember to subscribe on Tech Bytes. We're on Spotify, Google Podcast. So you can even subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everywhere. Dami, anybody sponsoring this?
Yes, we have our friends at Polygon and Whitebeat still doing this with us.
Now let's get to the major tech stories of 2022. Dami, do the honors.
Drum roll. Alright, so first on the list we have Elon Musk and Twitter. That was a long one for like 7 months.
It's still on. Remember,
So for several months, right? I mean, if you don't know, Elon Musk is the new owner of Twitter. That's out there. So for like 7 months, I mean, okay, maybe not 7, but several months, like 4 months or thereabout, there were backs and forths on the new ownership of Twitter.
Yeah.
Elon Musk bought shares on Twitter.
First
went into
step.
First step. Oh yeah, you are a majority shareholder now.
Yeah.
Do you have full ownership? They said no. Okay, now no problem. I'm going to buy everything. Decided to buy everything. Be there 44 billion. At some point, maybe his God spoke to him and said no, he's not buying again. That Twitter were lying about their numbers.
He now said it's overpriced.
Overpriced and everything. Then there were a whole lot of court proceedings back and forth, and eventually he bought it. He bought
44
it.
billion.
$44 billion, not naira.
Naira K.
And I mean, it's been a roller coaster since he has acquired Twitter. I mean, lots of improvements, lots of new things, or lots of changes.
Improvements, damn me. Okay.
Can you
Okay.
know, like, what has stood out for you?
You know,
That
since
sale?
this drama started.
Yeah, for me, I would say it has to be the old dramatic takeover, and the fact that it started as a joke and nobody saw it coming. So it's just like this guy was just doing his normal Twitter banter and all, and it became the reality. It became the new owner, and we've seen a lot of stuff happen. And but one thing that really shocked me was the old Twitter verification team that he became paid, and it was, I mean, a bit shocking to me. Like, we never got to this point. I mean, this guy's mantra is free speech, and you're asking us to pay
So you will not pay.
$8. I will not pay.
Yeah, he's asking us to pay $8 per month if you're using Android and web, and $11 if you're using iOS. Tommy, iOS user.
Well, the iOS problem is the tax, the extra 30% that Apple App Store wants to take for the in-app purchases that you make for any app. But I don't blame Elon Musk for trying to get money from Twitter. I mean, you guys just said he spent $44 billion on an investment.
Maybe we send them.
You should still make money off it. And since a lot of people want to make money from the verification tag anyway, a lot of people want to be verified on Twitter, so they don't mind paying the money for the guys that want it.
Oh, okay. I mean, and since then, I mean, the verification is not the only one that he has done. As well as verification, he has also brought back the accounts that were
Yeah, they were
suspended.
banned.
Tate, that's Cobra Tate's guy.
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Trump,
Kanye
Trump,
West, like
Trump.
Kanye West and all. He had to suspend Kanye.
Yeah.
Kanye started tweeting
Bros.
things again, and it was like, okay, it's over. Come and be going. And he started calling himself the chief tweet. You know, that's his new role.
I kind of like that name though. I mean, it's pretty creative.
So we usually say that Twitter led the content moderation story and all of that. It forced Facebook to start rethinking its content moderation policies. Some other platforms like TikTok too. They all follow Twitter because Twitter is strict about all these things. But they said it's one-sided. What do you guys think? They said it's one-sided. It is leftist, it is rightist. It is middleist. They keep saying different things. But what do you guys think?
Well, the thing with these centralized social media platforms is that the big tech that owns it still has a say in the type of contents that they would moderate. That is why a lot of other people are opting for the centralized social media platforms now, like the Mastodons and the rest.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk is still a human being. All the other people that he employed are still humans. All of them will have their own opinions. So even the content moderators will still swing left or right, one way or the other.
Yeah, Gani.
Yeah, so well, the thing is, you don't get to dictate to someone how he gets to run his company, and so that's like one angle to it. And on the other side, I feel like there's a need for people to start looking at maybe possible alternatives from these big tech companies, because truth is they would always do these things, and the best we get to do as users is to complain. But at the same time, these things will remain, and they won't change, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, Twitter, it's a whole lot of Hula Baloo, Blah Blue, and others. They're also not working remotely, so everybody's back to the office. We hope 2023 will be an amazing year for them, hopefully.
Hallelujah.
And for us, because we're all on Twitter. So.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Yeah, the next one. The Terra crash.
It's ironic.
Anyway, so the Terra blockchain, which houses the Luna governance token and the UST stablecoin, crashed in one of the most stunning fashions ever, dragging individuals and corporate institutions' investments with it. To put this more simply, Luna, formerly a top 10 coin by market cap, which peaked at $119 on April 5, fell almost 100% to a fraction of a cent. A sister coin, the UST, designed to stay pegged at $1, lost the peg and plummeted as low as 13 cents. The founder, who is also the founder of Terra, also created the Luna Foundation, GUARD, a consortium whose job it is to protect the peg. The LFG Bitcoin reserves had about $2.3 billion.
Yeah.
Scam. Is that the biggest scam of the century?
Not century, right? I mean, we had somebody that was soft that, but we'll get to that. But the whole problem with Luna started when a whale withdrew like $2 billion from, I mean, worth of UST, and that crashed the. So UST is supposed to be pegged against the dollar, one UST to $1. But when someone withdrew $2 billion, it affected the price and it reduced to 0.91. I know in the midst of this panic and everything, everybody started shilling their coins. Nobody wanted to hold anymore. Started shilling it, and prices just went down, 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 down. And this, I mean, increased UST, while supply of Luna was so much out there. And I mean, the more the supply, the less the worth. And
Did it even affect the crypto space at all? Did it do anything to the crypto space?
yeah, I think it did. Right, I really think it did affect the crypto space because prices went down significantly. I mean, as of now, or as at May, Luna was trading for 0.0001. Like, that's like way off. And the big guys too as well took plunges and everything during that era, as well as the respect or the perception of the crypto space. Right, if something that is supposed to be stable can crash, then why do you want me to invest my money in it? So it actually did lots of bad.
Yeah, so the collapse, the Terra ecosystem, including UST and Luna, will go down as one of the most painful and devastating chapters in crypto. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, so for me, and I think Dami touched on that. Now, the problem, people like us, crypto skeptics like myself, the problem we've always had with is. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but the thing is, people don't really trust that entire system, so there are still a lot of doubt around it. So
System.
yeah, the blockchain system as well. So the moment we keep having things like this happening and people's money, just go down the drain and no ways to
Like
recover it,
life
and nobody's going to jail for it, and because the whole system is supposed to find a way to fine tune itself, and there are no regulatory framework in place. There is no sort of authority that controls what happens. So it raises further doubt. And if there's anything this year has taught me as a crypto skeptic, it has to be that you know what, you're on the right path. Don't bother investing in crypto.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Right, it's crazy because $40 billion have been lost.
I wanted to say that actually. Go on.
$40 billion have been lost. Like,
Just to that
people
crash.
lost $40 billion worth of wealth because of Luna,
The
Terra,
UST.
Brouhaha. It's insane. It's insane.
When
What do you think,
you hear figures like that, it just means people like Ghani would not consider investing in crypto. But even there are a lot of people that actually invest in crypto because they read that this is the in thing, this is the right thing, this is the future of finance and all that. But they don't have the kind of knowledge that maybe some other people have. So when a whale withdraws $2 billion from a system like that, they get very scared. They do anything that the crowd is doing, and then that's not very good for the crypto space.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Luna has come and that's gone. We hope there's no.
They don't come back.
Future.
Anyway, let's go to
coming back now. 2.0, but I don't think that.
yeah, true. But let's go to the next one.
Yeah. So this year, I mean, we've talked about something kind of good, right? Twitter. Then we talked about Luna, which was not good.
It's not good for everybody.
Yeah.
But go on.
But the next one was not good for anyone at all, and it was something that hit all across. That was the layoff season that 2022 experienced. It went from January till now. You have
5
startups-
seconds. 5 seconds silence
For who? Sorry.
for people that were affected by layoffs.
Yeah, you have startups like 554 Gene,
Yeah.
Kuga, Nigerian startups like Quidax. These guys have sacked people. Then you have some others who have taken salary cuts. Again, like Quidax as well. market equity. These guys have taken slashes. You also talk about Kuda. Kuda has, I mean, sacked how many people? 23, right? Well, let's go 54G. Even the CEO had to resign. Yeah, resign. They had to resign. Right? Whatever their motivations were, the companies kept saying, oh, they needed to cut costs, harsh economic conditions, and everything, blah, blah, blah. And this is just Nigeria, across the continent as well. You have guys who are laying off numbers. Swivel, which is an African mobility startup, laid off about 400 people. About 400. Then you have our Wave, who laid off like 300. Market Force, 54. These guys were
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's
it's
a
a
lot.
lot of
That's like
numbers.
5
Then you now
seconds.
talk about the global one again. Those ones are in thousands. Meta laid off 11,000, right?
But that was just
Twitter
like 3% of the.
entire workforce.
Yeah.
Twitter laid off its entire 50%. That's like 3 out of 7K. And you also have some other big guys.
The entire
Netflix-
African team.
Netflix was were even doing it in batches, small.
Mm.
Batch 1, batch 2, batch. So you didn't even know where you stood. I mean, yeah, we laugh, but it
Sad-
was,
sad
it
stuff,
was a
sad
sad
stuff.
one for the ecosystem this year.
So for the Nigerian companies, many of them, or even the ones abroad, many analysts said that it's probably because they saw the boom 2020 brought, and instead of looking at the future, they just decided, okay, this is our future, let's continue with it. But that may not be their reality. What do you think? So,
Well, I think a lot of everybody that let staff members go, everybody came out with a reason or the other. Most of them said they had over-invested or over-employed, over-recruited people in 2020 during the COVID year. A lot of people said the inflation, some other people is competition, like they just could not get enough profit to do it. But yeah, it was a terrible year all around in that regard. And some other people invested in FTX, but I'm sure that we'll still get there. But at the end of the day, the main goal of the company founders is to keep the company going, is to keep the business running. But what I want to find out is how can they run now with 30% of their staff gone, 50% of their staff gone? Then why did they employ these people in the first place?
I think we kind of touched on that when we did our Twitter spaces. Someone mentioned that many of these guys, like you mentioned in the first statement, overemployed in the COVID year. And, after maybe they didn't do it well. Maybe people you should have brought on as contract staff. You brought
Make
them on as
projections.
full-time staff. And now that there's no use for them again, you're just like, okay, guys, you know what? Y'all be safe, y'all be good.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a big lesson to learn here in terms of what leadership and what management should be in the startup. So for many of the companies that are laid off, of course, some of the reasons are pretty much understandable because the global economic downturn affected everybody and there is no magic around it. The truth is, because of the boom that COVID brought, companies, made money and felt the need to expand into markets. But unfortunately, when COVID is still here, but when the whole thing, when it's, drained down somehow, and so that money, that revenue also came down. And they saw the need that some of the offices they created were not even needed in the first. So the lesson there would be that, founders, owners of companies need to be much more strategic about expansion and investing and employing people. Because, I mean, if you employ a whole team for something like, let's say, if one single individual can actually do, I feel it's needless. We've seen, some of these companies invest in offices that they don't need, employ people that they don't need. So there has to be a rethink around, what the company actually needs in terms of workforce, in terms of, how to engage people and how to expand as well. So it's one very key lesson that all of us should learn from there.
Yeah, I think one reason that beaded their expansion, if you look at many of the startups, they raised millions of dollars this year. Talk about Kuda is valued at about $500 million. Swivel valuation is about $500 million as well. Kuda recently raised like $55 million. I mean, this is a lot of cash, right? So maybe they felt like, oh, we could do this. And I mean, just coming up again, just recently, we also talk about Softcom that has allegedly laid off 10% of its staff, is owing December salary. like November salary in December. Even last year too, he told December salary as well. Cheaper cash, which is also valued at 2 billion, has also laid off many employees. So the thing never ends, and we just don't know where it will stop or when it will stop. And I really just hope it soon.
Hmm.
I really just hope it soon.
Amen. Do we have
Yeah.
a number though for number?
Yeah,
of-
about 239,000 startups were let off this year from
Workforce,
1,227 companies.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Bro, 200,000
So
people.
5 seconds silence will not even do it.
Maybe we should have done 1 minute instead.
Anyway, what's the next one?
Bankman fried. Go
Mm.
fried.
The bank man
Yo.
fried the account.
Your guy.
No, it's not my guy. Anyway, so Bankman has been in the news and he was recently arrested for different reasons. Except, one leading, and that was scam. It scammed many people anyway. He was lying to investors, lying to customers about, how their accounts were going and, all of that. But following the con, 3 Hours Capital and alleged Mashinki's trajectory for outrageous misbehavior in the crypto space this year, Bankman fried. Samuel Bankman fried. So you know his name.
Sam.
No, it's Samuel. It's Samuel.
Why you
So
calling
in the
his-
future, if you hear his name, and
You
he
should
started
run.
that company, run. And his company FTX, fell from grace. They were the second crypto exchange,
Yeah.
second largest.
By
Crypto.
transactions.
Yeah, transaction.
Yeah, so a lot of things, were just mismanaging funds, moving funds, and then all of that, and that killed.
Became the politician of a popular country.
And that killed, the company itself. Of course, it's now former CEO. There's somebody else there, but he actually caused the downfall of other companies too, and it caused a ripple effect, in the crypto space. It all started with when Binance, announced that they wanted to, in a tweet, we have announced that we want to buy FTX, and but was it a few weeks or a few days after they said
I'm buying again.
we are not doing again. This, I think they saw the accounts, they saw what was going on, and they like, okay, this is not happening. But what do you think? What what kind of effect? Of course, we have already seen some of the effects of what the FTX drama has caused. But what do you think this would cost in the long run?
Well, first, when I see Sam Bankman Fried or SBF as is popularly called,
Samuel
he looks like a villain. He just looks like a character out
Bankman.
of a movie. The way he looks, the
Where are we
hairstyle,
going to
the
again
way- I'm serious, but this whole FTX drama, I think was the nail that the coffin of the crypto space did not need this year. After the Luna crash.
Yeah,
People that were still
true.
on the fence after Luna happened,
Just like,
FTX just cancelled everything for them, because even the other big players in the crypto space like the Binance, all of them are staying away from FTX. They're like, this guy, this is a
He's
criminal.
on his own.
True and true. He mismanaged funds, and these are people's investments. These are their lives that we're talking about. Very bad hit for the crypto space.
You want to hear the take of a crypto skeptic again? Yeah, so of course, as much as the crypto space has so much potential, and that even some of us that will not want to invest in crypto, we see this potential. There is always a need for some sort of regulation around it, and that's why the idea of a decentralized exchange and this whole thing is not something that would really appeal to people now, because of course, we're talking about people's money, people's lives here, and
life savings.
and the fact that it feels like these people can actually get away with it, because it got to a point that I felt like this guy was not going to face the consequences of his action. But of course, I heaved a sigh of relief when I heard that he was arrested, and hopefully, he is brought to justice. But of course, it's not a good thing for the crypto space, especially when we still have a lot of people that have doubts around the space. But of course, like with every development, there's a lesson to learn, and there's an opportunity to bounce back. So hopefully we're looking at 2023 to be a better year for the crypto space. Good luck to all of you that are there.
I mean, even beyond skeptics, the perception of crypto, the numbers were not encouraging as well.
I mean,
crypto
Bitcoin's
lost 17% of its total worth from like 1 trillion to like $875 billion within days. Like, it was
only
insane.
these are ours.
I mean, Bitcoin slipped below 16,500
yeah.
for the first time since
In 2 years.
since maybe 2020 or
In
thereabout.
2 years. That was the lowest. Anyway.
That was the lowest in recent time. So all of this just shows the ripple effect that these things can have. People were withdrawing, like massively withdrawing their money. Like 190,000 crypto Bitcoin were withdrew from all the exchanges within that week.
Like
Immediately they
you
had
you can't see that kind of headline and still want to.
That's like $3 billion.
So they just went the way of this man. I'm sure he's their advocate of crypto skeptics.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to the next
But
one.
we're all gonna make it eventually.
Amen.
I mean, if you're
Wa-
already do your
wag
own
me.
research, not financial
Amen.
advice,
Wow.
but we're all gonna make it.
Wag me.
Right.
Next.
Yeah. So Nigerian fintech startups, it wasn't just layoff. It wasn't just market downturns and everything. They also had regulatory issues this year, especially in Kenya, which is interesting. They didn't have regulatory issues in Nigeria. They had in Kenya.
You know Nigeria now. I will not say more than that.
So at some point, accounts of the unicorn, the Nigerian fintech unicorn, Flutterwave, was frozen or based on an order from the High Court in Kenya. And why? They were said to be under investigation for money laundering accusations. The ARA, Asset Recovery Agency, that's filed the order for the court to pass, that the accounts were used for money laundering activities rather than the merchant service that he wanted.
That he said
he's using it for, something like that. Alright, so it wasn't just Flutterwave that was affected. Several other companies were affected. You have Flutterwave Payment Technology, Box Trip, Travels and Tours Limited, Backtrip Travel, Etivalat, Adguru, Pepsi, Cruise Ride, and one Simon Igingige. Another Flutter, another ICOT, Kenyan ICOT, froze $3.3 million in 3 separate bank accounts and some 19 Safaricom M-Pesa bill numbers belonging to Flutterwave as well, following this credit card fraud and money laundering again. Yeah, and it wasn't just Flutterwave. I mean, at some point, Korape was affected, Kando was affected. It felt
those
like
ones are
witch
later
hunting. Yeah, all of them have been cleared though.
Yeah, they said it immediately it happened. They made the Kenyan High Court, froze their account. We are not money launderers. They have nothing. They got nothing against us.
Yeah, and the Flutterwave one was coming on the back of the old Flutterwave.
Exactly.
I mean, get to.
So we had people say that's how they do. That's how African companies.
People started speculating. Like, yeah.
You don't even know what is happening at the the backyard, and you're already saying that we believe the Kenyan High Court, we believe ARA, and that was not the case. This ones came out and said we are operating legally, we are not doing any fraud. There's no money laundering happening with our platform. But people are going to say what they're going to say. Like Anu and Tomo will tell us what they want to say now.
So this is part of the problem that we have with government, our regulatory agencies, right? You come out like that to make an allegation and you don't have a tight case.
Exactly.
Because you drag these companies in the mud and then go to courts make some decisions, and
the reputation.
at the end of the day, you find out these guys are not guilty and then you clear them. But then their reputation has already been dragged through the mud. Like you mentioned, a lot of Africans already came out to say, oh, African companies, this is how they do, this is how they do. But then it turns out that this was not how they were doing. You get? So I think before government should come out and just come and do things like this, no matter the country, be sure that your case is tight.
Do a media trial.
Well, right, but just be sure, because at the end of the day now, the ARA will continue to be the ARA. Tomorrow they can come out and tackle another company like that, and they can. But Flutter with some people, that is what they will remember about 2022. Like, you know what, Flutter are. That time they say they be criminal. So even if the people will still just have that back of my mind, and those companies can do without that drama, and they can do without it. So the government should just.
I don't know if you saw the letter that they put out there to announce that okay, we have cleared Kurapi and Kandon. So it's very brief, one paragraph. I'm like, what? You mean that you drag these people for several months and you're just coming to say we found nothing? No. You're going to tell us. You have to give us more details. But what do you think?
The whole thing follows like a very disturbing pattern, and for me, at some point, it became like maybe they were witch hunting Nigerian startups. That was what I saw it at some point. Like, why were Nigerian startups the target of this whole thing? And like you guys said, fact that you get to drag them in the mud, you get to put their reputation at stake, and at the end of the day, you get to clear them of these same allegations. And so you never had a case in the first place. So what was the intention? So now the intention of the ARA at this point will be questioned. That what were they trying to achieve? Was there some political motive there, or was there some beef between Nigeria and Kenya that they thought, okay, this is our opportunity to get back? Honestly, because if there's anything, it shows that the regulatory environment, largely in Africa, is still a bit hostile for startups, and if we continue to go this path, would send a very wrong signal to investors, because who would want to put money in a startup when you're sure that one day one ARA or one similar agency can come up and accuse the startup of money laundering of any of that? At the end of the day, after the whole messy scandal and all of that, you come out and you say we made a mistake, or based on our findings, or based on fresh facts that we've gathered over time, we've seen that these people are not guilty as charged.
Putting their accounts for months.
And so who is going to repair the damage that has been caused in the media? So African leaders really need to go back to the drawing board and rethink what the regulatory environment should look like, because it doesn't look good at all.
Just in case you're wondering, Ganiro is the go-to guy for policy and regulation. That's why he keeps talking about regulation. It's like, bah.
Anyway, let's go to the next one. The bad bosses.
Bad bosses. Bad guys.
The bad guys.
Bad guys. Alright, so it started with accusations in an article by David Ondain in a Medium post, by Clara Wanjuku. Clara had been an employee at Flutterwave, alright, and these two articles raised important questions about culture, ethics, governance at Flutterwave. Yeah, the article was titled Flutterwave, the African Unicorn Built on Quicksand. That was such an interesting.
Yeah, interesting title, no doubt.
Yeah, and it was about the co-founder and CEO of Flutterwave, Olugbenga Agbola, accusing him of fraud, perjury, insider trading, and several others. We did a podcast on that, so you can go back to check it about the insider trading,
Spotify, Google Podcast,
everywhere. So it also alleged that Agbola did not resign. What he was saying was that Agbola did not resign from his job as head of digital factory at Access Bank, while he was at Flutterwave. And also Aboyeji was the then CEO, was a co-conspirator, and had testified allegedly and has testified alongside Agbola and the Access Bank CEO about Wigwe before the US Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, under oath, that Agbola never did work together with Access and Flutterwave. Flutterwave denied the claims, of course.
Were they going to say?
They denied the claims and all.
Were they going to say that?
I feel like this just opened like a full-blown tank of problems.
Yeah.
And discussions that maybe were long overdue.
Yeah.
Then he started having technical expose on Bento Africa, where they talked about Ebon Kubanjo, the CEO or the then CEO or the CEO now, because on his LinkedIn he's still the CEO. So he was accused of being an orchestrator of direct and indirect bullying, verbal abuse.
Of course, we saw a video about verbal abuse.
It was a whole lot. And he was asked to resign,
to take some time off,
and drop to his CEO. And it was a whole blown talk on social media.
There's also Rice Vest.
There was Rice Vest. Elian Yaike was accused of sexual improprieties. And he was asked to step down as well. But I'm not sure he did or he has.
On paper. Maybe he did on paper.
So I mean, this all started like an entire conversations on bad bosses, horrible bad bosses in Nigeria. And it expanded from not just tech startup. I mean, lots of tech startup were mentioned. If you join those Twitter spaces or you
Yeah.
were following those conversations that year,
Twitter trends.
it was a lot. Danny, what were you feeling during that era?
Yeah, I mean, I think I even wrote an article about it when the Rice Vest case happened, because he followed a very, very worrisome pattern that it looks like maybe because of the flexible nature of the tech ecosystem, it looks like people can do these things and get away with it. But
They will get away
but interestingly, it's the reason why this is an issue is because in tech, in the tech space, we can still people are still very vocal. In traditional companies, these things are like a norm.
Yeah,
Like
lots of guys from
you
regular
understand
community
workplace bullying, sexual, they're just like a normal thing. So big up to everybody who spoke about it, because it was very important that we we bring this issue to the front burner, and if there are possible way where we can maybe look at policies. I mean, I would continue to hammer on that if there are policies that because really when we have an ecosystem that is run by young people that supposedly should have better understanding of how to treat people, because we're all young people, yeah, and so it's hilarious that would have cases of workplace being social impropriety, and you start wondering that then what exactly is now special about the tech space. Really, I mean, you start looking at that, what exactly is special about us, because if we can't even run companies properly without one person making the headline for the wrong reasons every week. No, so it's one very important conversation, and I'm glad that it came to the spotlight and people will continue to talk about it. So we can only hope that going forward we'll have lesser cases of that, and we see possible ways that people get punished. I feel that it's very important that people get punished for these things. Don't just ask the CEO to step down. You will step down. It might be part of the board of the startup, and he doesn't get punished, and nothing really happens, and the victims are left to suffer. They are the receiving end, and nothing happens to them. They are not compensated. They are not rewarded. They don't get anything. So I feel that so it's very important that we look at possible ways to put some deterrent measure there. So if you know that you're guilty of these charges, you get punished for it,
I feel you.
and others will not do
so
the
He's
same.
not a young man though, so we're
Okay,
not-
if people don't know,
70
Tomiwo
years.
is the editor of Technext, so I'm asking him in his capacity as the editor. So as a leader in your team, speak from that capacity. What do you think about
because
all
I know
this?
what I wanted to say, right? I wish you did not say that just now.
Oh, I've started.
And I'm not apologizing for the leaders that bullied or not, but part of the issues is that the tech space is very competitive, right? And it's about numbers. So this guy, I remember reading that article about Ebon, and part of what he said was how we need to get results no matter what. It should not be no matter what, right? But the idea is valid, sort of. You should not have to resort to bullying to get the numbers that you need. You should not get to resort to bullying to get the results that you want. But his own case was always telling people that no matter the time I call you, you must answer. When I ask you to do this, you must do. It must be done. If you don't do it the way I want you to do it, then that is a problem. It should not be like that. Leaders need to find a better way to communicate these feelings to their colleagues. And I remember part of the article, some people that actually worked there came out to say, if you cannot undo it, then you should go. Right? Some people said they understand that. They said, I think the particular line was, it's not for everybody. Like some people can actually handle it. Exactly. So I think part of the peculiarities of the tech space is that you want numbers, you want results, you want money, you want sales, whatever it is. That is why these guys go out of their way to extra drive, and then it actually crosses a line. There should be a line, like Kanye said.
It's like you not mentioned solve problems, so it means that are you saying that you're not solving problems too? Anyway, I think that's it. Dami.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of the talk and our conversation for today. Like we mentioned before, this will be our last podcast for 2022. So this is, I mean, Tomiwo is on Christmas call, so we're wishing you compliments of the season. Merry Christmas in advance.
You just
and a
need
Happy
white
New
beer,
Year. Okay. So yeah, this will be our last podcast. We thank you for being with us on this journey. 20
Yeah.
episodes, that's a lot. Thousands of views. Thank you. thousands of guys out there who have listened. We're going to be back next year, definitely, right?
Of course, of
Yeah,
course,
with more
of
interesting
course. You know,
conversation. So you can use the Christmas holiday to catch up on all the past episodes. If
yeah,
you want to.
binge listen.
Okay, binge, yeah.
Binge
nice.
listen.
And Friday, you can just put this in your ears
Yeah.
and listen on and everything. Thanks to the guys at the back end, Emmanuel, David. Shout out to you guys. People should shout out now.
They are doing strong men.
Yeah.
Alpha male.
Yeah, so if you've not followed us, follow us on Technext, technext.ng, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Mine is Ackdown07, Ganiu.
It's just at Gani Oloruntade on Twitter and everywhere.
Tomiwo, but 7 instead of T.
Okay.
Okay, just look for Omole Omori on Twitter, and everywhere you will find me.
Wow, so proud.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll come against your ears and your eyes next time. Take care.
Enjoy the rest of your year.
Yeah, be safe.